Yo, 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 what it do though? Just a baby back live, full in effect. You already know what it is, man. Been gone for a minute, figure we come back for these Fireside Fridays. And yes, it's been a while, so there's a lot that I want to kind of cover. But first and foremost, since we haven't been here the whole year, I just want to let y'all know that the Orange Man is gone, y'all. He's gone. And you know what that means? But anyways, aside from all of that, the person that ended up taking his place, somebody that you've known, and if you've been in politics for a long time, so the fuck has he, Mr. Joseph R. Biden, somebody that I really just don't care for, I don't like, I didn't feel good having to vote for him, but I still did because, like I said, Orange Man bad. But there's a lot of things that he has done, and there's things that he hasn't done, and honestly, I just want to talk about a couple of those real quick. So, we around my state, Georgia, you know what I'm saying? We flipped the blue. Yeah, I know what it is. You welcome. You welcome. But aside from that, we were told and we campaigned on $2,000 checks. That's what the Democrats told us they were going to do immediately, instantly. Of course, for the first month and a half, it seems they were too busy trying to impeach Donald Trump again, which was really, I would call political theater, just a performance art, because we knew for a fact that once again, you were not going to get enough of the Republican senators to say, yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of Trump. Let's impeach him. You know what I'm saying? And after doing a little bit of research and hearing some other people who are a lot smarter than me talk about it, I believe that the best course of action would have been looking at, I believe it is Amendment 14. There is a clause in there that basically says if you were to help insurrectionists, or if you were to incite certain things, or if you were to be found guilty of anything against the United States in that kind of context, then your ass can never hold office again. Meaning that man couldn't run in 2024. Meaning the GOP might actually try to find a platform or a new structure. But that party has become the party of Trump. As I can't remember exactly what the number was, but it said a lot of people would leave the actual GOP if there was an actual party of Trump that has been started. But in my eyes, ever since 2015, it has become the party of Trump, especially during Trump's presidency, where people like Cruz and Graham and Howley and all these other punk ass senators, they would basically just become even worse obstructionists. They would just pander to this man. They would do whatever he wanted, and then they would act like we were wrong for noticing that they are wrong. And I get so tired of that. But anyways, back to Biden, right? So, you know, we campaigned on these $2,000 checks, right? And then for some reason, now it's $1,400 checks. And, they tried to say, well, what we meant was the 600 you had previously got, and then the 1,400, you add it together, and that's like, nah, bruh. Stop lying. Stop lying. Why you always lying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys told us $2,000 checks were coming quickly, and they need to. Actually, as my girl Corey Bush says, these are not stimulus checks. These are survival checks. Niggas need money. You dig? So, with that being said, now we're down to $1,400. And what they're also attempting to do is change the eligibility requirements based on income. Now, I did just see a study earlier that said about 98% of the people who got the second stimulus check will probably still get the third one. But my thing is, why are you even meddling with those kind of things? Like, you guys went from we gonna get money to the people to we're gonna get some of this money to the people to we're gonna get some of this money to some of the people. And I just don't really think that's the best course of action, especially if you Democrats are trying to win 2022, which I don't believe you are, because the things that you have been doing, the people that you've been trying to put in the cabinet, I can't remember her name, it's like Neera Tanden or something like that. You see, she withdrew because she didn't, have support on the Republican side or the Democratic side. And a lot of progressives were like, yo, Shawty sucks, you know what I'm saying? And she does. She does. But aside from that, putting Buttigieg as Department of Transportation, and people like, well, Department of Transportation don't do shit. That might be the case, but what were the qualifications for putting my mans there? You know what I mean? And then, Lloyd Austin, I don't have a problem with putting him as the Secretary of Defense only now because he said that he would recuse himself from anything that has to do with Raytheon, seeing as he was on the board of Raytheon and he got paid by Raytheon to basically leave Raytheon. So he's probably going to favor Raytheon, right? But whatever, it was cool for us to do it as left, but when Republicans did it by having a lobbyist from Raytheon, Democrats were all up in the air. So I'm gonna say democracy. This Democrat hypocrisy is starting to rear its ugly head. It really is, and I'm really gonna have to call it out, because if it was horrible for Trump to bomb people, then it's just as damn bad for Biden to bomb people. Yes, that is right. Already in office, not even past 100 days yet, and we got Biden bombs. And sad. Still bombing brown people because, hey, it's the American way. And it sucks that the military industrial complex, no matter who is the chief in charge, it's still going to be all about, modern colonialization and trying to swing the bigger dick. And basically, Biden has stepped right into the same path as, his predecessors. Yes, that means Obama. I know you love him. I ain't got a real big problem with him, but his presidency left a lot to be desired. So, and, he was commander in chief and he bombed a lot of people. Plus, when Hillary was Secretary of State, that whole Libya incident, the way y'all did Gaddafi was just fucked up, man. It was just wrong. So wrong. But anyways, like I said, back to Biden. There are a few things that he has done that I'm like, yo, that's what's up. That's what's up. Getting us back into the Paris Climate Agreement, getting us back into WHO. He's done some things for LGBTQ rights, which is dope. You know what I'm saying? But then there's the more immediate things that he actually needs to do, but has yet to do. And for me, as an avid former smoker of the cannabis, I think the fact that he hasn't done anything about marijuana legislation, there really is no need to even do that. Like, just, regulate it on a federal level by taking it off of the class 1 substance list or whatnot, no longer as a narcotic, change the class substance of it. You can get the AG to do that. You could probably do it in an executive order. So the fact that he hasn't done that, it's pretty alarming to me, because I'm trying to figure out when exactly y'all gonna get around to that, because we still got people sitting in jail for petty ass marijuana crimes. And we talked about criminal justice reform, and we talked about recidivism, and we talked about helping these people out, and you're still not doing a damn thing about it. Yet for some reason in certain states, wealthy white folks are allowed to sell marijuana as an essential business. So how in the hell does that make sense, or is that fair? Whatever. Anyways, so the marijuana reform, that's something that really kind of pisses me off that the House, and the Senate have not done. Like, you guys have all three right now. For the next 2 years, you have all three to do whatever you need to do, and y'all ain't doing shit. Like, getting rid of the filibuster. Right. Now, a lot of people probably know or don't know, but the filibuster is actually racist in origin, because it was kind of created to basically hold off on votes. And around that time, the things that they were voting for were civil rights type things, or things that would help the minorities. So they would just have somebody do some grandstand nonsensical bullshit, stand up there and be like, well, and then basically they wouldn't be able to get to the vote in time, and then the vote would pass, or not pass as in succeed, but pass as in time period. So yeah, we kind of need to get rid of the filibuster, because aside from the fact that it does nothing, it actually does nothing. So there's really no need to continue to keep it there. I don't understand why Biden hasn't done anything about that. But, what did you expect? Biden is not a progressive. Biden is a neoliberal. He is the same kind of thing that Hillary Clinton is. He's the same kind of thing that Obama is. They're not really for progressive change. They're for trying to get back to the status quo. The status quo did not work for a lot of people. So for some reason, I'm trying to understand why you guys think the status quo is going to work now. We need radical changes. And as of right now, I just don't see Biden being the one to do that. And in 2024, if she ends up winning, I don't see Miss Harris being the one to do that either. It sucks, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, our choices are progressively getting worse and worse. And I just don't truly comprehend what we can do about it, you know? Like, when I think about somebody who would be a good choice for president, I can't think of one because I honestly don't feel like that person exists, or if that person does exist, is ever going to get enough support to actually win. We saw what happened with the Burn Man back in 2016, and then we saw what happened in 2020, you know? So if he himself, who seemed to be one of the most authentic individuals to ever hit American politics, like if he seemed to be that person, had the integrity, had the progressive policies, had the plans, had the youth behind him, if he could get wronged. I was about to say something very, very inappropriate, so but if he could get wronged, you know what I'm saying, then there's really not hope for anybody that's going to come after him in the same kind of mold. And so we're going to continue to, recycle these same type of politicians, and that just doesn't bode well for America. But anyways, like I said, back to Biden. So Biden hasn't done anything about the marijuana stuff. He hasn't done anything about the filibuster. And the other thing that is really, really pertinent at the moment that a lot of people are, kind of wondering when is something seriously substantial going to happen to student loan debt crisis. Now, the reason I wanted to hold off on this one for the end is because I'm like, this right here is the number one thing that Biden should be focused on right now, simply for the fact that it was his punk ass that voted in 2005 for the bankruptcy abuse protection clause that basically made it damn near impossible for individuals to remove the debt of student loans and effectively turning student loan debt into a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? So with that being said, it's like, we get it. 94 crime bill, you fucked us on that. And now you're attempting to do criminal justice reform by, the federal prisons. You basically said no more privatized federal prisons, which doesn't necessarily help African Americans because most of them are in county and city prisons and things like that. They're not really sitting in the federal penitentiaries, So to a degree, it helps. It's a small step forward, but honestly, we need to take some giant leaps, right? So you're not really doing too much to address criminal justice reform. And the student loan debt is another bill that you yourself sat there, had the authority and the ability to say, no, let's not do this, but then ended up trying to, blindly get more moderate Republican and Democrats to vote for it. And eventually it ended up passing. And it went from, I believe, $50 billion worth of student loan debt to about $150 billion within 10 years. So it's like, that's a lot of money, just the debt alone. And I know there's a lot more debt to it, but these are just some of the numbers in comparison from the bill in a past 10 decade type, time period. So it's like, what are you going to do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, we heard $10,000 and we heard $50,000. Now, obviously, we know you ain't going to do $50,000 because you're way beholden to your damn donors and, the elite Wall Streets and the people who really profit off of the backs and the labor and the suffrage and the tears and the pain and my bad. I get a little long-winded when I think about them greedy elitist bastards. But anyways, you get too much money from them. So we know that you're not going to go all the way out and eliminate student debt like you really need to. And just putting a little Band-Aid on it like you did by extending the student loan repayment thing till September, that doesn't really do shit, right? So what we need you to do, just to get rid of it, is maybe instead of the 50 and instead of the 10, 30. Happy medium, right? And then we could work on repayment plans that are, more suitable to the individuals that might be paying them off. Instead of just forcing them to pay at least, a third of their paycheck every month towards student loans, and they couldn't even get a job because everything that's going on, right? So, I don't know, man. My dog, you really need to look into the student loan thing that you yourself said you were going to do something about. Because time's ticking, brother. And, I'm going to get off Biden real quick because I ain't really got too much time left. But I want to talk about something else really, really quick before I get up out of here. And it's this idea of cancel culture. Now, if you have not heard of cancel culture, I don't know where the hell you've been, but if you have not heard of cancel culture, it is basically this social phenomenon where the court of public opinion deems somebody justifiable to continue to keep their platform or to lose their platform based on something they may have did 30, 40, 50 years ago or 3, 5, 10 minutes ago. It really just depends on the context and the individual themselves. So, it works sometimes for people like Weinstein and R. Kelly. I know it's a brother made some amazing music, but the dude was sick, twisted in the head. Let's just be honest about it. So, it works sometimes, but then sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we might just be in our feelings, and it's like, let's just get rid of this, and there's no real need to get rid of it. But a lot of people are confusing cancel culture with capitalism, and by that, let me explain. Now, recently, you probably heard this story that Dr. Seuss, about 6 of these books will no longer be published. Now, first and foremost, I need to say this is not a push by the left to get these things out of here. This was a business decision by the Dr. Seuss estate to no longer publish books that, portray racist imagery, and basically saying that, we need to protect our bottom dollar. Just like Aunt Jemima, just like Uncle Ben, just like all these companies who decided, hey, we were kind of racist, so, to make up for that, let's kind of try to get with the times. Now, black folks are like, we don't really give a fuck what you do. We just kind of want you to stop beating our ass in the street and, maybe kind of help us out economically. But, if you want to change Aunt Jemima to some white woman, cool, do what you do, But in all actuality, this has nothing to do with the left and their platforms for cancel culture. This is literally the businesses making the best business decision for themselves so that they can themselves make more money due to the things that they're selling. So y'all gotta stop blaming the left every time one of these incidents happens, because this shit's getting old, y'all. And also, I saw that Generation Z, or whatever y'all are, y'all trying to cancel Eminem because of the Love the Way You Lie song that my dog did with Rihanna. And I think there was a line in there like, if she ever leaves, I'm gonna burn this fucking house down. Look, y'all, I need y'all to understand. You can't cancel Eminem. Like, he's gonna be around. That's slim. He if you want to cancel him, that song right there is pretty light and moderate in comparison to some of his other things. Like, if you listen to the Relapse album, or if you listen to the song Kim, or I'm Sorry Mama, or Cleaning Out the Closet, now you start listening to those kind of songs, then you might actually have a point in trying to cancel him, but it's not going to work because he's already established himself as somebody who just, as he says, don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to him. He has a platform that's not really going to go away because the people who listen to him have grown with him long enough to know that this is who he is. He just kind of had to be there. Anyways, it feels good to be back. It feels good to talk to y'all. I know we kind of ran through this one pretty quickly, but we just want to get back into the flow of things for Fireside Fridays. There's a lot more that we're going to talk about next week, but if there's some things that you guys would like for me to talk about, or some things that you would like for me to explore, or just some things that y'all want us to correct, get at me. You already know, at JokesTheBaby on Instagram, at JokesTheBaby on Twitter, Facebook.com/JokesTheBaby. That's it, right? Yeah. And then OpenMindedProductions.com. Y'all already know what it is, man. I'm out this thing. One love, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace!